Yo, what's going on, guys? So before we get into today's video, just gotta say that today's video is gonna be brought to you by Beautiful Halo, and I gotta say, if you guys want to purchase some really awesome anime merchandise, everything from Boruto / Naruto to Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball, click down in the description box and use my link below in order to do so. It's also a really great way to help support the channel. As a bit of an added bonus, a lot of their anime merchandise, like you saw in the video just now, is on sale right now, and there's free worldwide shipping on anything over $29. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys a very important video on whether or not the Boruto anime has been good, whether or not it's lived up to expectations. This is going to be a community response where I'm looking at your comments, I'm taking your feedback, your honest opinions on the Boruto anime, and I felt like this was that watershed moment where we as fans need to take a chance to look at the Boruto series in retrospect. Now that the anime has been on hiatus and the anime is going to be coming back this Sunday, you guys should be seeing this video on, if I'm not mistaken, you should be seeing this video on the 30th. If everything goes according to the calendar, the way I have everything planned out, you should be seeing this June 30th. So with all that being said, I told you guys roughly a month ago, I said, be brutally honest. Has the Boruto anime lived up to your expectations? Why or why not? Figured this would be a very fun discussion since the anime's been on break. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to kind of do like always and just look at some of you guys' comments and just give my feedback on what you guys are saying. You know, this is a good way to interact with you guys. So Vincent Nugent said, the show gets a lot of hate and criticism for having a lot of filler, and I get that. People want to see the good stuff that's in the manga and more of Boruto's dojutsu, karma, and kara, etc. I agree that the anime is a bit slow right now, but it's engaging in its own way that I personally don't mind. In my opinion, the show hasn't lived up to my full expectations for being more action oriented, but I'll take my time and join in Boruto's journey just like I did Naruto. You know what? I can agree with that. I can agree with that because, like, I know for me, even though I knew based on what Masashi Kishimoto said when he was promoting the Boruto anime, when he said that they're gonna be focusing on a younger demographic, and as Naruto progressed, Naruto became darker and became more introspective, and that Boruto is supposed to be something more lighthearted, something a little more fun, something geared towards the younger fans. I definitely went into the Boruto franchise thinking it was going to be something similar to what you got in the Boruto movie, where essentially Naruto and Sasuke, they play the background like how they are now, but they still get kind of woven into being the main support characters, and you see Boruto and his generation carry the legwork for a while, but the old generation just hasn't been completely shoved in the background. And so I definitely thought it was going to be more action oriented, where the bigger bad guys, you would see Naruto and them handle them. Even if they're like mid-tier, we still see maybe Konohamaru serve that role. And so I definitely thought there'd be more action, but you know, I agree with you on that, you know, right now, hey, just take the ride, see where it's going. Especially if you read the manga, you know where it's going. I definitely want to see more kara and more about karma, and I got high hopes for this kara actuation arc, especially given the fact that we definitely know for sure that they're going to be giving us an anime original inner member of kara. So that's gonna be really interesting. So Gabriel TM said, it's all a build up. People forget this is life after a war. I can agree with that. I can agree with that because, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, forget, like when Naruto was growing up, Naruto basically took place while there was a cold war going on between all the nations, but the 5 great nations were on pins and needles with each other. Like, there was open tension. We're seeing the fruits of Naruto's labor. Everything Naruto struggled for during his time to become Hokage, fighting for that peace, we're seeing that peace play out. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I would like to see more threats that are kind of centered around Boruto and his generation that have a better payoff. But I get where you guys are coming from on that. That's why I don't mind the slice of life too much. Archer Gaiman says, honestly, the Naruto Gaiden arc was fun and emotional and really made me connect with Sarada, but the power scaling and missed opportunities annoyed me. I really enjoyed the Chunin exams arc, and it had 2 of my favorite fights in the show so far, but Momoshiki and Kinshiki were overall pretty uninteresting. I can agree with Momoshiki and Kinshiki there. The endless fillers are torturous and really annoy me, especially when they have the story progress, or especially when they have actual story presence, e.g. Anoiki's death. The time travel arc was a bundle of missed opportunities and disappointing art style with well animated but uninteresting climax. Okay. The Mujina Bandits arc was okay, but the fight with Shoujoji was honestly pretty boring. Overall, this series has great potential, but I wish they had gone Attack on Titan arc and only adapted when there was enough material. You know, that last line is something that I've definitely said. Boruto, it'll never happen because of how profitable it is. It'll never happen. But Boruto should have been a seasonal anime. The same way they do it with My Hero Academia, and the same way a lot of series are becoming seasonal, this should have been seasonal. I really feel like this should have been a seasonal anime. Like, I totally get it. It's a cash grab. It's making a lot of money, but based on how well a lot of the manga material is doing with a lot of fans, it's still pulling in some of the older Naruto fans. It's turning off some older Naruto fans too, but I mean, you can't please everybody. But I like a lot of what you said. The only thing I'll definitely say is I didn't think the scaling in Naruto Gaiden was, you know, messed up. I didn't think it was messed up. Like, let's look at what we had here. Like, Naruto was protecting Sarada and he was protecting Chocho. He got caught off guard, got a sword in the gut, and promptly yanked it out. Sasuke, people say, why is Sasuke out of chakra? Sasuke's Rinnegan Jutsu. Well, Kishimoto had been setting up Sasuke as far as chakra as far back as 2015 when Naruto Gaiden was going out. Like, when those chapters are coming out, a lot of people are saying, where's Sasuke's Rinnegan? And then we get to like chapter 7 or 8 and Sasuke's like, oh yeah, now I have my Rinnegan back. It's been activated. And like Naruto's like, you were out of chakra? You didn't have your Rinnegan? Like, just little small stuff like that. Like, this had been set up as far back as 2015. Sasuke, like, once he got annoyed with those Shin clones, he was about to kill him. And then all of a sudden, that's when Sarada started crying and saying, Daddy, don't do it. And all of a sudden, Sasuke grows a heart, and his heart grew like 10 times bigger. Lomar Yearwood said, maybe those slice of life episodes make us see how much he really has to lose. And when he loses it, the show will become a lot darker. Yeah, Kishimoto talked about that, saying that the tone would start out lighthearted and it would eventually get dark. So, I mean, they're definitely building towards that. You know, Eternal Hokage and myself, we have a podcast up on my channel where we talked about that for a pretty good while. Well, that was like one of the main topics that we covered on there. Is 5 Kage Summit episode number 2. And on that one of the things that we talked about was the fact that, you know, the Toneri teased it, the White Snake teased it, Momoshiki teased it. A lot of people talk about the fact that, you know, Boruto is in for a world of hurt in the future. So, I mean, you know, it's one of those things like you got to build up to it. You know, we had Naruto struggling for his whole life to achieve peace. We have it. We got to bask in the fruits of Naruto's labor before it gets stripped away. So I can vibe with that a little bit. Gerald Adiji, and if I butchered your name, I'm sorry. He said no. So he says it didn't live up to his expectations. So let's see what he has to say. He says, because after every arc, the character development in Boruto is stripped away because they need him to act like a brat to learn the same lesson in the next arc. You know, that was my problem with the earlier arcs. I think that after the Momoshiki arc, we start to see him slowly kind of break out of that. He still has bratty moments, but I mean, he's a spoiled brat. So, I mean, that's to be expected. But I mean, I can understand why people feel like that though. Malik Davis said, it's all right, I'm just ready for manga content. I mean, we even have this hype opening and they're still giving us filler. Next episode's got Mitsuki and some cat, and who honestly gives a shit about that? Well, the cat episode, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, I was getting ready to start reviewing the Boruto anime and I saw the cat episode and I said, what the hell's going on here? I can't review this. That episode honestly made me say, I don't know if I want to review the anime. Like, I've been watching it in spurts. Like, I would let like 15-20 episodes build up and then I would just watch the anime that way. I wasn't watching it week to week, and honestly it's because, you know, even for me doing the weekly anime reviews, it's hell on my schedule to do that. So, you know, when I get a bad episode, it really pisses me off. So when that happened, I was like, oh no. But this notion about like what's canon and what isn't canon, you know, I just want to kind of set the record straight on this. Like, I understand what you say on that, but you know, the thing that Kodachi and Ikimoto both have said is that the anime and manga run parallel to each other, and the anime's whole purpose is to add into the story the stuff that the manga can't actually do. There is no filler in Boruto. That pisses people off. That really pisses people off, because a lot of people are like, I just want to get to the manga content, and I agree with you. I really do, but there is no filler in that. So I mean, I get what you're saying though, but I guess you're saying like in the end, like we need more manga content. I can vibe with that. I really can. Okay, Rome DS44 says, honestly, I didn't go into Boruto with any expectations. All I knew for sure is that the beginning of Boruto versus Kawaki scene probably wasn't going to happen for a while, which I've said is a mistake, by the way. but I've enjoyed watching this world develop, because when Naruto ended, I just wanted to be able to have more content in that world, not necessarily Naruto clone. All the manga stuff I won't spoil here is just a plus to what the anime will become. Yeah, you know, I can agree with that, man, you know, because like when Naruto ended, you know, I'll share my personal story. Like when Naruto ended in 2014, right? It was like October, November 2014. I was so pissed off at the ending. Like I love Naruto being Hokage, but I hated that Masashi Kishimoto gave into those parent wars. I really hated that. You know, I was somebody that always said like I wanted Naruto when he became Hokage because he was an orphan. I love the idea that just how the third Hokage and one of the first Naruto arcs said that the Hokage position means that the whole village is your family. I thought that was so poetic and so symbolic that Naruto would be the Hokage for a village that once hated him, and that hole in his heart that existed because he didn't have family had been filled by the villagers loving him as Hokage. I thought that was a nice way for it to come full circle, but I wasn't, honestly, like after Naruto the Last, like I wasn't really hyped about Boruto the movie. I was not hyped about it at all. I resisted series like My Hero Academia and Black Clover because, you know, when they were coming out in 2014, I resented them because I felt like Jump was pushing Naruto out in order to push those series. And so I didn't get into those series, and when I read them, I judged them directly against Naruto, and I actually ended up dropping both of them before both of them got to chapter 50. So I mean, I can understand what you're saying. I'm just glad to have more Naruto content. Shayla Nightshade said yes and no. Yes, in the way that we need to see much more of how much things have changed over the years compared to what was in Naruto's time. I agree with that. I also like how we get to see new jutsus here and there as well. I agree with that as well. That tells me that this world won't be stagnant, which I like. I like the characterization of the old and the new characters as well, though there are some that are left to be desired. That's true. There are some wasted potentials in Boruto. I like to see how even in peaceful times there's still enough trouble that there needs to be dealt with, and sometimes it's done well enough and sometimes it's not. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. They need to do a better job when it comes to tension. No, because even though I gave the anime some leeway, I still found times where in one episode a character will learn something, but then the next episode that same character would forget it completely, leaving that character to be more boring than before. Unless it's a long arc, the character remains the same, and after a while it gets really boring. And in some cases there are no consequences for some of the character's actions. I understand this to an extent, but when you make a character not remember what they previously learned and have to have consequences for their actions after that, it's basically saying that the previous episode meant nothing. Anyway, it's a pretty decent anime, all things considered. That's my opinion. I agree with you on there. Again, I would like to see a little bit more tension. I would like to see a better usage of an overarching threat. Now that we're getting the car arc in the Boruto anime, Jigen being in the shadows, I think that's going to start finally being shaped up. But I agree with you. There needs to be more consequences for the character's actions. There needs to be better payoff. I agree with that. I'm going to end on that one, and I'm just going to say this, you know, I think that the overwhelming response is that the anime, when it gets to the manga content, people are excited. When it covers the slice of life, it's hit or miss. And a lot of people are saying that they wish that the anime would have more stakes. And I can agree with those takes. I really can agree with those takes. I can really agree. I felt like Kuroshiki was a missed opportunity. He should have been the overarching threat that we had that introduced us into Jigen. I feel like that would have been a really good segue. So I mean, overall, I mean, this was fun, man. You know, like I said, this was a fun little discussion, seeing what you guys were saying and how your thoughts were. So almost 1,200 comments, man. This is more than any other discussion I've had before, man. Like people have commented after the fact, after I've done the videos, but you know, this is fun, man. This is fun. So let me know down in the comment section, has Boruto lived up to your expectations? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.